Listen, I'm gonna be straight with you. I've been frame counting Crystal PvP for a while now, and once you actually look at the numbers, Marlow's gameplay stops making sense as just skill. In Minecraft, everything runs on ticks and frames. Humans don't press buttons on a grid, even the best players fluctuate. Sometimes you're 6 frames, sometimes 7, sometimes 8. That's normal. That's human. But Marlow doesn't fluctuate. Across dozens and dozens of clips, different fights, different moments, different pressure. Her anchor placements land on the exact same frame timing over and over again. Not around the same. Not close, the same. 7 frames, again. That alone is already suspicious, but it gets worse. When people say, oh, she's just consistent, they don't understand what consistency actually looks like in real gameplay. Real consistency still has variance. Even pro players miss by a frame. Fatigue, mouse position, knockback, panic, it all changes timing. But here, the variance is basically gone. That's not muscle memory. That's automation behavior. And when you compare it to Airplay's timings, it's obvious something different is happening. Airplay suddenly drops to 3-4 frames consistently, like a different input path is being used. Humans don't just magically switch timing systems that cleanly. Same thing with attribute swaps. Sword to mace to sword lands in 3 frames almost every single time. That's not reaction based. That's pre-timed. People forget reaction time doesn't matter here. This isn't reacting, it's executing. And humans execute slightly differently every time. Scripts don't. If you graph this stuff, it literally clusters like machine output, tight grouping, repeating values, no natural spread, and the biggest red flag, this consistency holds across different versions, different mechanics, and long time spans. Skill evolves, meta changes, hands don't stay robotic for years straight. I'm not saying every clip is scripted, but there is no believable explanation for that level of frame-perfect repetition without assistance. None. If this were one montage, sure. If it were cherry-picked, maybe, but it's everywhere. At some point you stop asking is she good and start asking why does her timing look like code? Because skill looks messy, macros look clean, and this is too clean. Marlow's hidden ult, I'm gonna be honest, the whole mace scene timeline doesn't sit right with me at all. Rapture didn't slowly grind into the Minecraft mace meta, he didn't build a name over time, he just appeared right after Marlow reshaped what good mace play even meant. Before that, Alien Overdose was basically the reference point, his playstyle set the standard, people knew what top mace gameplay looked like, what was allowed, what wasn't, and how things were judged. Then Marlow comes in and changes a core rule of the scene, not a small adjustment, a rule that directly affects how mace fights are played and evaluated. And suddenly the meta shifts. What used to be considered optimal or skilled is no longer the benchmark. Right after that shift, Rapture shows up and somehow almost immediately he's being ranked HT1, the highest tier possible. No long public progression, no extended history in the scene, just straight to the top. That alone would raise eyebrows, but then you look at connections. Rapture is Marlow's friend, and not long after hitting HT1, Rapture gets an admin role in the mace tier list Discord. The same place that decides rankings and standards, that's where it stops looking organic, because from the outside it doesn't feel like the best player rose to the top. It feels like the rules were changed, then someone aligned with the rule change benefited immediately, and once you notice that, it's hard to unsee. If the meta hadn't changed, would Rapture still be HT1, or would he have just been a forgotten soul?